Come on, Hector, let's get you off the stage.
Okay, goodbye, Hector. You're looking good today. Have you lost weight, Hector?
It's a bit warm.
It's a bit warm. You lost weight? Yeah, you're getting jacked. You're getting jacked for the summer. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the London Card Show. First of all, before we start, can we give Harry and the team a big round of applause today, because they've really pulled off another great show. It's going to be a good weekend. So you can start now if you want. Get ahead of the curve. So I'm from Futera. We make very beautiful sports cards. I mean, I would say that because I do the marketing and all the branding for the company. And today we're going to do something cool. So last time, those of you at the last show, you may have remembered that we had Carlton Cole, and he was signing his cards. Now, as you know with Futera, you land a Futera autograph card, you turn it over, on the back of the card, you can see exactly where and when the player signed. I think that's really cool. All our cards are signed on card as well. So we don't do stickers. They look very beautiful. And as you can see, because he's here next to me, I've got Mr. Emile Heskey next to me. So everybody say hello to Emile. He's flown in from Denmark. When you sign, you can pop it back on there, but we'll just have a little chat first. So yes, thank you for coming, Emile.
Thank you for having me.
Where do we start? A glistening career for you. I think I was talking to someone earlier and I was saying, like, when players retire, it's quite hard. It's quite easy sometimes to forget how good they were. Back in your day when you burst onto the scene, when you turned a defender and ran at them, there's no stopping you. When did you realise that you were quite good at football?
Fairly young. I actually enjoyed athletics more than football when I was younger. So, but then obviously at school you can just play football in the playground, can't you? So when a ball was put in front of me, I knew that I had this knack of being able to run with the ball at good pace. No one could really catch you. It was quite enjoyable. So that's where it came from then.
So you mentioned athletics there.
Yeah.
What types of athletics?
100, sprinting and long jump.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. So that set you up quite well to for a time in the game, which we will speak about in a second. So you've got some different cards to sign here. If you want to crack them open and get going with that, we'll try and talk and sign. It'll be a little bit tricky. And I'll sort the mic for you, mate, and you get yourself comfortable. Harry, is this going to work? Where's he gone? Oh, can we make this a little bit more like potent so it can pick him up? Or, so yeah, just for more context on what we do with the cards. So we have our main collection, which is Futera Unique, and some of you are nodding your heads, which is good. You know what we're talking about there. Oh, there we go. And these cards will feature in that collection moving forward.
It's not going to work, is it?
It's not going to work. Just put it down there. We might have to sign a few, and then we can finish them after. All right. So take us back then to Leicester. When you hear me? Take us back to Leicester then, Emile. When you burst onto the scene at that club. When did you make your debut? You must have been about 17, 18, around that time?
I just turned 17. March 95, I just turned 17. I turned 17 in January.
Right.
And then made my debut. We'd had a lot of illness in the camp, and I was one of the only fit strikers. I'd literally just joined from school, and I'd trained a couple of times with the first team, and I'd travelled. And then what they usually do is just before the game, just before kickoff, an hour or so just before kickoff, they actually reveal what the team is, and that's when I found out.
You didn't know prior to that?
Didn't know prior to that. That's when I actually found out, which was probably a good thing because didn't have a chance.
Didn't have time to think about it. Yeah. So is that? I mean, your lad now is playing at Manchester City.
Yes.
And he's 18.
Yes.
So what are the main differences between like that you see now in terms of his development and yours? Like, I mean, I imagine there's been a lot of changes in that time.
I think the main difference is what they have. The facilities they have, the technology they have, sports science they have. We were kind of winging it back when I was playing it, and a lot of the stuff was you learn on the job. So I was actually talking to my dad and seeing what was the difference between me and my son. I was actually at 16, 17, I was actually an adult.
Yeah.
I had an adult's body. Where my son now is, you can see he's a kid. But when it comes to the know-how of football, my son's by far better than me.
Right, so you'd say that he's more intellectually
At a higher level than you were.
You had to kind of gain that experience on the pitch to learn the things that he already knows.
Yes, and I had good players around me, senior players that would help me a lot. But he doesn't necessarily need that because again, they do analysis themselves. They have to click their own videos. I still don't even know how to do all that now. So
Wait, the players have to.
The players have to do it. So the players have to present back as well. So they'll go through their own clips, etc., and then they have to present it back to the coaches.
Cool.
Slight microphone. Thank you, Harry.
I think it's out of battery,
You, mate.
Right, I'll shout. There you go. I'll shout. So those.
There we go. So those of you that are a little bit older, shall we say, more
millennials,
may remember your first manager, Martin O'Neill. I've heard you speaking really highly of Martin O'Neill.
Yeah.
What was it about him that like you liked as a player, Emile?
Martin was more of a man manager, and I always say, people ask me, who's your favourite manager? And I always say two. I say Martin O'Neill and Gerard Houllier. Martin O'Neill gave me the confidence. He gave me the chance to go and play and perform. Didn't give me too much instructions, but the instructions that he did give me were things that I already knew I could do. And he would tell me, go and do that. When you do it well, it'd reward you. And then obviously with Gerard Houllier, it's about learning the tactics, learning the game. Was more so with Gerard Houllier.
Gerard Houllier.
Gerard. Here we go.
Is this one on?
Yeah, hello, tested. Woo! Sorry about that.
Can you hear me okay? Good. Those of you that can still hear after that little mishap then. So yeah, Martin O'Neill. Was Martin O'Neill more of a man manager than Gerard Houllier?
Yeah, he didn't actually take any training sessions.
He didn't take training sessions?
He didn't take any training sessions. Martin O'Neill was, you'd see him Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you wouldn't see him again.
Really?
Yeah, that was his routine. We'd have coaches who do all that.
Oh, okay. So, and I remember, just fast forward a little bit to when you signed for Villa, because Emile played for Leicester, Liverpool, and Villa, being, I'd say, the three biggest clubs, Birmingham, Wigan, obviously, and then you went out to the States. But when you were at Aston Villa, I think it was that Bonderhall said on Talk Sport once that he used to give you like 4 days off a week or something like that. What's that about?
That was his thing. So his man management ways were to try and get the players on his side and the players to play for him, the players to run through a brick wall. And anyone will tell you when you're employed by someone, if someone gives you the days off, you want to do well for them.
You don't want him to get sacked.
Nah. So we played against Man U. Gabby scored. So that was a Saturday afternoon, and it was the early kickoff. So we'd have probably finished around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock. Gabby coming into the changing room, we're all celebrating, we're all happy. Gabby knows what he's doing. So he goes, he shouts out, see you Thursday. This is Saturday afternoon. And the manager's so happy, he goes, Gabby, do you want off till Thursday? I tell you what, see you Thursday. And we were off till Thursday. He's done it before, Gabby, where we've actually played on Saturday and we've not come back in until Friday. The lads were in different countries.
Yeah. Because you can get around the world fairly. I mean, you flew in from Denmark last night. You get to Vegas in like 12 hours, right?
Vegas was one, New York and Dubai and Miami.
So what about your preparation then? Surely you're all jet lagged, you've got been training.
Do you know what? But we still finished top 6. And that is the thing. The only thing I would say is, knowing what I know now, yeah, you just can't get away with it for the longevity.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do that every now and again, but we'll do it more than every now and again.
I can't imagine. I mean, I know that's not that long ago. I mean, we're only talking, what, 2004, 5, 6, around that time?
But then that was the thing back then. So we went to League Cup final in 97, 99 and 2000 with Leicester.
Yeah.
Before every League Cup final, we were in Tenerife, warm weather training with no training. But we went and we won two out of the 3. So
again, Tenerife's not like a country retreat, is it? There's a lot going on there, a lot to distract you with.
It was really nice, but it wasn't. Lineker's was nice.
Yeah, Lineker. So I've heard. People nodding their heads at that as well. So you go to Tenerife then before a major final.
Yeah.
Is his philosophy then just to try and? Is Martin O'Neill's philosophy in that situation? I just want the lads to relax.
Enjoy, relax, and hopefully.
Did he say things? Don't worry about that. Did he say things to you like, lads, listen, I don't want you drinking, or you've got to go for a run every day, or anything like that?
Something along those lines, but
that's mental.
I don't think it worked.
That's mental. But still, though, you had the success. Because how many of those cup finals did you win?
We won 2 out of the 3.
2 out of 3. So you start off at Leicester.
Yeah.
And then you make that jump to Liverpool. Have we got any Liverpool fans? Okay. This is a bad time for me to tell you that I'm an Evertonian. For some reason you don't want to talk. For some reason, I'm sitting down with these former Liverpool players. I'm talking to Liverpool fans. You don't want to talk about the last derby, and it's strange because normally it's me that doesn't want to talk about Derby Day.
1 out of 50 is not bad, is
it? This is true, and this man has broke many an Evertonian heart on Derby Day before. So you go from Leicester to Liverpool. Now, you're still playing in the Premier League with Leicester, obviously.
Yeah.
But is there a massive difference in terms of that quality? And there must be in terms of expectations.
You realise, again, I went from having no meetings. We really did very little tactics in that sense of looking too much. We were all about ourselves. We know what we wanted to do. You knew who the main players were, so you try and stop them. But then you go to Liverpool, where the finer detail is amazing. It's a lot of meetings. And that was tough for me because I'd gone from having no meetings to now having a lot of meetings. But the detail that you have when you go on the pitch, you know everything.
So you had a lot more freedom then at Leicester.
Yeah, you say it's freedom, but it's information, isn't it? So you need that information to go on the pitch. And Gerard Houllier was fantastic with that. There was no stone unturned.
No. So at Liverpool, then again, you're pretty successful. I think people forget. By the time you've hit 24, 25, you've won some serious trophies, haven't you?
It was weird because again, 97. I went to 97, 99, 2000, 2001, and 2003 League Cup finals, and I just thought that was normal, but it wasn't. I went to 3 League Cup finals in 4 years with Leicester, and then went and won 3 trophies in the first year at Liverpool, then won the Super Cup and Community Shield. And in my mind, I think but that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
it's not normal. But again, you go to a club where really you're supposed to be winning stuff, and that is what they want. The fans put pressure on you. You put pressure on yourself. You know what the magnitude of actually playing for that club is, and you put the pressure on yourself to actually go and perform every week to try and get yourself into cup finals and win trophies. The reason I came to Liverpool was to try and win the league.
Were you a Liverpool fan as a kid?
Yeah.
So how was it then? Because, by the way, we are going to take some questions for you guys as well. So if you have got any questions, let Ruben know and let him know what you're going to ask, and then we'll come out to them in a second. But, being as well someone that's quite familiar with Liverpool as a city, it's a place where people really love their football.
Yeah.
How was that? Did you find that you just going out was a nightmare?
I come from Leicester, where everyone knew me anyway, so they leave me alone. So I tried to walk around the city centre in Liverpool, it just wasn't going to happen. And that was the first time I knew from them, it was like, nah, this is not going to happen.
Yeah, so you had like the warmth of the Liverpool
Yes.
fans, and then the Evertonians giving you a bit of stick as
No,
well.
the Evertonians were fine with me, to be honest with you. I think because obviously I'm not from the city, it was fine. I've never, and I'm 6'2", so that really
Exactly. No one's, you know what I mean? You've got to be pretty silly. But to start digging you out in the street, but there is a lot of like, you get in a cab, right, and the taxi drivers are red or a blue, and no. So who's the standout players that you played with at Liverpool?
Well, Stevie's the main one, isn't it? Stevie G's the main one that stands out. And the funny thing is that I was 22 when I got to Liverpool. He would have been 19 at the time. So, but you can still see the pedigree, and you can still see what he's going to go and achieve, because he's a leader from there. And to be a leader with the likes of myself, with Gary Mackin, players like that on the side, you know already. And Michael was the golden boy then as well. So, but Stevie still stood out as well.
So who did you kind of get on with when you were hanging out at Liverpool? Who would you
all of them?
I know you.
You know the funny thing is, I came to Liverpool, and then Peggy Alfexer came with me, who had been with me at Leicester for two or three seasons already. So I had my friend, my mate from Leicester, with me. So I was more time with him.
What was your first day like at training there? You know, can you remember you know, kind of like feeling yourself around?
Yeah, it was funny because, and then you get the gravity of the actual club. Is at Leicester you train hard, but you don't really tackle and stuff like that because you've got a small squad. But when you go to Liverpool, you actually train the way you play. So I remember getting the ball coming into me. This is one of the first touches in the training kit and blah. Stefan Encho just comes sliding straight through me, took me out. I thought, okay, this is not bad. This.
Love it. If you just want to swap pens in a second. Yeah. So just while Emile signs some more, sorry mate. These are what the cards. They're not finished yet. These cards, so they look quite flimsy. What happens is they go off to I send them off to our production facility in Asia, and then they will be turned into proper cards. So if you were to find this card in the future in a Futera unique release, on the back of it, it will say, Emile Heskey signed this card at the London Card Show on this date. And if you were there, like you are now, you'll be able to look and go, oh, that's cool. I was there when Emile signed this. So yeah, they look, you know, Futera cards, if you've seen any, there's lots on the stands around. Take a look at them because they're very beautiful, as I said, and they're a lot thicker than this. Any design that you like here? All of them. You were very complimentary last time you sat and signed our cards.
Made me look young.
Yeah, well, you were young then. Well, you're still young now, Emile, obviously, young at heart. So we're at Liverpool then, and we haven't spoken about England yet. Now, I kind of want to save the obvious question about England to the crowd, because I'm pretty sure someone's gonna ask it. But what, Sven is a manager that I don't know your relationship with him. You know, it's okay. Was it okay?
Yeah,
he used to pick it, didn't he? He's quite poorly at the moment. What are your thoughts on Sven, and what are your memories of him?
I enjoyed playing under Sven because, again, he was relaxed. He was a bit like Juliet, tactician, very smart, defensive. But again, we wouldn't get battered by teams. And there were some good teams that we played against, but we'd come to games, and the tactics that he had was basically we'd sit in front. We wouldn't be would be very hard to break down. Knowing that we got myself, Michael, Stevie, McManaman, so and so going forward to actually go and score goals. So it was a good time.
Some big names, mate. It's crazy, you know. I sit down with. I'm very fortunate. I get to sit down with a lot of the lads that used to play when I was growing up, and just hearing, just talking about these players that are idolised, and you were going out and training with them every day or on international duty. What's your memories of Bex? You know, a superstar, but how is he as a person?
Very, very good player. And he became our captain, and it was good because a captain has to have that link between you and the coaches and you and the manager. So whenever you need something or want something, he would be the person that would go and do it, and no one could say no to Bex. I remember we went to, I think it was 2002, and he was Armani ambassador then. He was coming with this big box of Armani, goes, lads, just go on, bang, and take some of that, wallets, all sorts, and glasses. Yeah.
Wow. There's a game that stands out to me. The obvious one is the Germany game, but as I said, I'm gonna let maybe the crowd ask some. The Greece game, but there's another game that I kind of like because I think it showed. I mean, you were heavily involved in it, and it showed like you had to have a bit of grit to play for England. Not only because of the press, the expectation of the country, but because sometimes you'd face opposition that were very hostile to you, i.e., Turkey in Turkey. Now, I read something about you. There was a brawl in this game. It finished 0-0. What are your memories of playing in Istanbul? I'm sure it was in Istanbul, wasn't it? You know, how hostile was it?
It was very hostile. It was very hostile. They used to. I remember playing against Galatasaray as well, and what they did was they put like big speakers in the corners around the stadium to try and ramp everything up. So you feel intimidated. And I can remember Bex missing the penalty, and then us coming in at half time. Just you talk about brawl. It was at half time.
Yeah. Was it half time?
Yeah,
wow. So the second half. Yeah. So in the brawl, I mean, you're in the tunnel. I think Rooney's trying to deck somebody, isn't he? You're trying to deck somebody.
I didn't know what was going on. So yeah,
Sorry, mate.
I came through the tunnel, and when you go through the tunnel, it's like actually one of those retractable ones. So you're coming through, it's quite thin, and then you break out into a breakout area like this. And I'm coming through, and I'm just walking. You're going to the change rooms, and I'm looking at Ashley Cole arguing with Hassan Sass. So I'm just walking. I'm just keeping an eye on that. And as I'm walking, Hassan Sass spits in his face. Yeah. So I slapped him, and then it all kicked off.
Well, I mean, if anything warrants a slap, it's pretty terrible behaviour, right?
You'd rather someone punch you than actually someone spit in your face.
Yeah. So you get into the check. Is it then a case that you're in the changing room and you're like, right, it's us against the world now, us against Turkey, the entirety of Turkey, you know? And
the experiment was good because you had to calm us down after that. Because again, it literally went off in the tunnel. So and I didn't realise there was more going on behind me.
Right.
Because I was just focusing on that. And then I heard that, Rooney had a fight with someone, this person. Oh, okay.
So Rooney's had a fight. Ashley, you slapped someone who spat in Ashley Cole's face. Crazy. Now, I just want to fast forward a little bit because there's a competition that from the outside looking in didn't look like you had a great experience. Not you, the whole team, and that was South Africa in 2010.
Yeah.
Capello runs things like a military operation, is that right?
Yeah, but I think a lot of things have been made of that. Again, if you've got a manager that wants to do it this way, you've got to fall into line, haven't you, really? And I didn't mind it because obviously I've worked with the likes of Martin Emile, even though I say he gave us freedom, but when he said something, you abided by that, and you had to do what he said. So that's all Capello was. He was very strict in everything. Italians are very strict in everything they do. Taskmasters. When they talk to you, it's like you've got to look forward and look at them. And he was like that. And I don't think any of the players, some of the players, liked that because they've come from an environment where it was very you have a say as well as the manager. It's all on the manager most of the time, isn't it? If anything goes wrong, it's all on the manager.
Did you have to call him Mr. Capello, like you were at school, or is that fiction?
I don't even know. I can't remember what I called him. I never said anything to him.
We're going to get some questions off you guys in a second, and we got some, really. Okay, let's take some then.
There we go.
Did I, mate? Do you want to ask another one?
Mike's gone.
Anybody else? You're a Liverpool fan, mate. You've got a question for me? You were very enthusiastic when you came in about being a Red. Gerrard in training?
Yeah, amazing. The thing with Gerrard again is what you see on the pitch on the weekend is done 10 times on the training field. And one thing with him is he'll never let up. So if your standards dropped in training, he'd be on you. He'd be on you, mate. So he would never let that drop because again, and I always say that anyway. The game should be easy. You should have done that 5 or 6 times before in training, and the game should just be routine for you after that. So, and that's what he was like. Amazing.
Yeah, cool thing. But you'd what?
Wanted to coach.
Oh, you wanted to coach? There's probably a few on there.
Yeah.
Just have a few. Centre halves, right? Being a centre forward, you must have had some that you were like, next time we see you.
Not centre halves, because again, I actually enjoyed the battle with the centre halves. I remember playing. I was young. I was at Leicester, and Martin Keown. So he's marking me, and we're looking at the ball over there, and he's just got smashed straight on the nose. What's going on here? But yeah, I enjoyed that part of it because I'm going to give it back as well. So
this is an announcement for Lenny Clark. Lenny Clark, please head to the front desk. Thank you.
I mean, I suppose as players, because sorry mate to interject there, but because you play with some of these lads at international level.
Yeah, but again,
it's not that animosity, right?
No, not that animosity. You do want to do well, and you do want to smash them, but it's not. It wasn't hate. It wasn't hatred for me. It wasn't anyone. You do want to smash them. It's funny because I played with Robbie and through Robbie Savage through his good times. So, but then when you play against Robbie, he's the worst. You just want to kick him.
Why is?
Well, he's probably a good player, especially for say middle to bottom table. He's probably one of the best players to have on your side because he gets people out of their game. So they're concentrating more on him than they actually are on the game. So he's a wind-up nurture.
He still is now, isn't he, on the radio? Yeah, I was going to ask. That was I was going to ask. I was going to say, if you'd have played against Robbie Savage more and he wasn't your teammate, you might have had a different.
I get on with Robbie as well. Robbie's a good friend of mine, but he's a nightmare.
This gentleman over here with the red hoodie.
The check at the back there was obviously your involvement with the women's game, and to feel the impact now that's growing, the distinct impact now that's going to have.
Yeah, it's great. Look, I think with the women's game growing, it's huge. It's huge for young girls wanting to get into football. It's huge for football itself. Having it on television, I've got 2 girls. They don't play, but they actually like to watch the game. So yeah, it's going to get bigger and bigger. The thing is, we will always compare, and people will always compare it with the men's. You can't. It's just not the same. It's not the same product. So just don't. I've been within it for 3.5 years. I love it, but I don't look at it and say I'm comparing it to that game or this game or that derby or this derby. It's not the same. So.
Yeah, that'd be. It's almost like quite unfair to do that because the physicality is obviously
the physicality. The men have had 100 years.
Yeah, this. Oh, in terms of how they get. Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, it is good though to see how it's growing. And you know what, Emile? Actually, walk around here and some of the ladies' cards. Last time I was here, I was looking at some of the other because we've done a few we've done a couple as well, but they're really well sought after now. So that's really good to see because I've got a daughter as well who likes football. So this gentleman here in the red hoodie.
Yeah, so that was a Jets question. It was asking about the culture change and just the change of playing in the different leagues, different place.
I found that tough at first because I'd come from every game means something. There's a meaning behind every game. You're playing to try and stay in the league. You're playing to when you actually drop. And this is the reality: when you drop out of leagues, other people from the background lose jobs because of the money that you having to outlay. And then to go to a league where I found it hard because it really didn't. It mattered to me, but to some players it didn't really matter whether we lost or we won or we drew or anything like that because there's no promotion, there's no relegation, they're still going to get paid, they're still going to do this. So, and the professionalism wasn't what I was used to because the lifestyle was so nice. So you'd have people surfing, and I'm like, you've got a game tomorrow. People go surfing, people go doing whatever they want. And I found it tough at first, but then you get used to the mentality of everyone and you fall into line. So I was surfing in here. Shocks.
Any more questions, guys, from the audience? Oh, Liverpool fan.
Favourite moment of your career? I would say.
It's got to be a Liverpool answer now. You know that.
Yeah. There's too many. Because when you make your debut, that's always going to be your favourite. I was 17, like I said. Was travelling with the first team and got called up to play. I was literally in the changing rooms, sitting there. What I used to do was travel with the first team just to have an understanding of what it's like to be around the first team players. And then, so I would help out with the kit man because I was 17 at the time. And then I sit down with the kit man, and they pull back the sheet and my name's on it. So imagine that. So that was probably one of my favourite moments. Making my England debut, signing for Liverpool. You know, as a Liverpool fan, I was with my uncle all the time, and we were big John Barnes fans. So being a Liverpool fan and then knowing that they're in for you, and all these other teams are in for you, but you're saying, no, that's the team I want to go to. Signing for them was fantastic. 5-1 against Germany is always nice. Yeah, I think they're the ones that stand out for me.
As you made reference to Mr. John Barnes, just let you know, if any of you are here tomorrow, I'm going to have John Barnes on stage doing the exact same thing as Emile. So 2 Liverpool legends over the space of the weekend with an Evertonian interviewing them both, eh? What are the chances? What are the chances? Lucky me. So yeah, because actually when you transferred from Leicester to Liverpool, you had some other big clubs in for you at that point, did you?
Dortmund, Roma, Spurs, Villa, Chelsea.
But at that time, you were just dead set then on Liverpool. Yeah. Any more questions? You got a Chelsea fan there? You got a question? No? Another one? One more from you, mate? Yeah. Duncan Ferguson. Duncan Ferguson.
No. I never played against him.
No.
No, I didn't fear anything. I loved playing against Sol Campbell. It was just, I remember there was one game. He was at Spurs at the time. I was at Leicester. We're both quick. We're both big. We're both running down the wing trying to chase his ball. And we both looked at each other and just went smash, and we both dropped on the floor. But they're the sort of battles that I loved. I loved them battles. But I never really feared. I didn't. Look, yeah, I'm forward, so you never really play against them like that. You play against the defenders, don't you? So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, because of your height though, but then you got your pace. Were you sent back at corners?
Yeah. But then for Leicester, we had Matty Elliott, Jerry Taggart, Steve Walsh, Muzzy, Lenny. So
you had loads of height.
Yeah, so I actually did the near post space, so I didn't really have to mark anyone.
Right.
We had a huge team.
Yeah. Any more questions, guys?
So it was top managers available today. at their teams? Who would you play under?
Oh, good question. So just so everybody can hear that, sorry, Emile. So out of all the managers that are managing today, who would Emile like to play under? I like that one. Good question, mate.
I think Jurgen. The reason I say that is that when you look at the man management, that is one thing for me is possibly having a manager that puts his arm around you, especially when you're younger. And Jurgen seems that. I think Pep would be probably a bit too intense. You can see that he's very no, but again tactically and he's improved most of his players. But I just think probably too intense for me. Whereas I would want a bit more relaxed, and I think Jurgen gives me that.
Yeah, being a man manager as well, like,
Yeah.
I can imagine he'd get the best out of you, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? Oh, that's another good one. So let's do the 5-a-side, and then we'll be
five, including the goalie, or 5 out and then goal. I'll go 5 out and then the goal. I'd go David James' goal. I think he was unfairly treated, to be honest with you. He's a fantastic goalie. Statue of him was immense. Just, I hope I don't mute. I think sometimes concentration can be lost, but again, we've seen that with a lot of the good goalies. 2-2-1, I think, right? Rio. It's a toss up from Sol or JT. I'm gonna actually go JT because he can use his left foot more. But Sol was an immense defender. One of the best I played against as well. Solid. But I'm gonna go with JT just because I want a bit of a balance right now, so that we can use their foot as well. Midfield Stevie and Scholesy. Up front Michael. Not bad that.
Not bad at all.
I'll be on the bench.
Not bad at all.
Didn't make the cut.
And what would you have, Martin O'Neill or Gerard Houllier as manager?
Both.
Both of them.
So we can get days off and we get tactical.
Yeah, but I imagine they'd like, because which one of them would be the boss? Do you know what I mean? It'd be tricky, that, wouldn't it? Any more, guys, or not? We've got another 5 minutes, and then Emile, by the way, after this is going to go off. You're going to be able to go and get your pictures with him and get some signed stuff by him as well. And then you can, as you're in between, you can finish signing the rest of these. No worries.
So the players that you played within your career, who do you feel had the most potential or think might reach the peak of their powers?
Okay, good question. So which players that you played with didn't quite go on to fulfil their potential, respectfully, Emile?
Joe, he had an amazing career, right? But I thought Joe Cole could have even been better. Joe Cole, and no one really speaks about him that much.
I'll do that, mate. I'll do that.
Yeah, he was so good, Joe. I remember I was away in England, and then we had this young lad come on, and Joe Cole. Some of the skills he used to do in training, Scholesy couldn't get near him. He just boot him. He just to boot him. Felt sorry for Joe. I remember doing a crossing and finishing, right? So normal thing, get the ball, play it out wide, and you've got to get in the box, blah blah. Person on the wide, so just take a touch, cross it in. Normal stuff. Joe was like, no, I'm not doing that. Ping the ball out to him. His first touch is a Rabona back across. You're like, what is he thinking? And this is a 18-year-old coming into the England camp. He just didn't care. He didn't care. That was just him. And he had and I think when he went to Chelsea, he obviously changed the way that he played. But if you look at him at West Ham, there wasn't many players like him running from the midfield. And there wasn't many players who could take the ball off him in the midfield either.
I don't know whether the audience would agree with this, but now, you know who comes to mind as you're talking then? Grealish. Grealish has gone to Villa, sorry, he's gone to Man City, and I feel like he's lost a bit of that. You know, there's a vibrancy to those players, and people look back at Joe Cole and they blame Mourinho. I don't know how fair that is. I mean, again, you're a player.
You have tactics. You have a style of play. You have the way that you want to play. And the reality is, if you don't fit in within that, you're not going to play. So he adapted his style to fit into that, and you have to do that as a player. But I just think he was so much better than that. He was unreal.
Good stuff. Well, yeah, you. I tell you what, actually, Emile, on now on, we'll go away and finish the rest of the middle bit. But what I want you to do as well is what I asked the players to do is I asked them to kind of personalise the odd card with their own signature. So to give you an example, I was with Paul Merson the other day. We've released a podcast where he's signing his cards, and I said, what would Paul Merson say? And he said, beans on toast. So there's some of his cards that say beans on toast, and then they're signed by him. I know you don't have to go that crazy, but the odd one you might want to write like "You'll never walk alone" and Heskey or something like that. You know, just kind of mix it up a little bit. And collectors really like that. Any more questions before we finish? You got one, you? Okay. All right, so this is a good one to finish off, and then remember you're going to be able to go and meet Emile up close and personal, get something signed with him, have a picture with him. The final question, Emile, is Messi or Ronaldo?
Question everyone asks.
Yeah, it's one of them questions, but it's a hard one, isn't it?
It depends what you want, though, isn't it? It depends what you want out of the game. It depends what you want, what style of play you play. I think natural ability, Messi. I think if you want to show any kids, I'd say Ronaldo, because when you look at Ronaldo when he came to Man United as opposed to when he left and went on again, it's all hard work. It's all dedication to the way that he lives and his lifestyle. So I think for kids, it's Ronaldo, because I would want them to work really hard to work on their touches, but their natural ability for me is Messi. Arguably the best to ever do it.
Is he still would you say to this day, right now, is he still one of the best? Even now at this age?
It's just because he's played in the league.
Well, I was wondering whether or not you could pick him back up now and pluck him back into a European league and how he'd fare like.
I think he'd fare the same because he hasn't changed the way he played. I don't think he was one of those ones that ran around and like a headless chicken and was doing it. No, he was very strategic in the way that he played and the way where he got the ball and what he did with the ball. So, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, thank you, Emile. We'll go off and sign these over there. Finish off signing these, and you'll be over there for some. Everybody, can you give a round of applause for Emile Heskey? Thank you. And he'll be over there shortly. Brilliant. Thank you. Sorry, mate. It's a bit awkward, isn't it, with the trying to sign.
Sorry. Would you sign one of these?
Yeah, you can make this.
Do you want to do it? Where is it?
It'll be over in the corner. He'll have a little stand there, and he'll do it for you. Yeah, no worries, no worries. No. No. It's not. Listen, it's me. It's not Emile. He'd sign whatever. It's on me. So, yeah, it'll be towards the back. Yeah. All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
No worries.